Hey guys, welcome to Thoughtful Thursday. I am Aimee and I'm here alone today. I didn't ask anybody to come in today because I wanted to share a little bit more about me. I've been doing Thoughtful Thursdays. We started it at the beginning of 2021 back in January, the first Thursday of January. It's been so fun to meet with these different people. This part of my community is part of my family. It's so much fun. And so I am inviting you, if you want to be a part of this, if you're not sure anything, let me know. I'd love to include you in on these, whether you're here in Lincoln or whether you're here just somewhere else in Nebraska, in the world. We can figure out how to make it work. I've got a little techie behind me, and so that's kind of why I'm here today. I've got a few verses from my life and how I have come to this point, and so I'm excited to share some of those with you today, and so I can't wait to get thoughtful with you. See you here in a few. I am back, and so yeah, I had a problem with the sound there for a moment, so if you're listening in, the sound went off, but then I came back on. So always things in the tech world that we're keep working on, keep improving on, and keep figuring out, because I am definitely not an expert, but that's the great thing about learning and growing, is you get to find these different pieces and parts that grow in where you're at and grow the people around you too. And so I kind of give you a little bit of my story today, tell you about how things have been thoughtful for me because this year I have a word of my year, and my word is to be intentional. And so intentional about being caring, about strengthening others and encouraging others and giving you the support and love that you need. And so that's where my job comes in, whether it's my job as my actual job as a digital graphics communication person, or my job as me as my own individual person, as where God has led me to be. And so a few years back, going back a while, if you go back into the archives and you look for a sermon, there's one particular that I always reference back to, and I'll link it at some point here below. And it's about finding your word for your verse for the year, and it's something that I have continued to do since then. But that first time when I was trying to figure out what was going on, where I was going, we had just started attending Horizon, so it's probably 7 years ago now, something like that. The years have been such amazing, and so I don't remember exact numbers, but going back, you can look up Jeremiah 29:11. It's one that a lot of people know, a lot of people understand, but it's one where I was like, okay, where are we going with this? And so as I read through it, it's, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." And so that's where I started. That's where I was like, all right, I have my community of my church. This is something, it was new. I was leaning into it because I knew I grew up with the community like that, and I wanted to get back to it. And so I was like, all right, here we go. This is what he has a plan for me. Yay. What is that plan? I wasn't sure where I was going with my career. I had been back and forth with a couple different things. I was trying nursing. I had been a photographer for a few years. I had worked at a home improvement store before that. And so I was still trying to figure out where my place was and what my role was. At that point, I had 3 small kids under 7. And so I was just not sure what that plan was. And it's not about finding the plan, as you'll see, it's about the journey through it. And so as I was going through, the next year I found out my second word. It was actually a word that flows with a verse, and that word was here. So that I'm positioned here as part of my journey, as part of the plan He has for me. And so with here was the verse Colossians 6 or Colossians 2 verses 6 and 7, and those say, "So then, just as you received Christ Jesus as Lord, continue to live your lives in Him, rooted and built up in Him, strengthened in faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness." And so as I learned about the word here, about the word and its meaning, because here has a lot of meanings, not just hear as in H-E-A-R, you hear with your ears, it was H-E-R-E. And so here as in the place, here as in presenting something to somebody. And so it's here as offering this gift and in this place that I stand, in the current place where I'm rooted and I've been built up, these gifts that He has given me. And so in this 4-letter word, I have a whole year of study that I went through for just that single word that brought me to where I am. And so it's not about being discouraged about the different things that you have to figure out, that you have to work through. It's being where you are and finding that present moment. Present as in here, as in this time, but present as in the gifts that you see from it. Because those strifes and those strugglings throughout that year, they can be intense. I can tell you stories about the last year, and even this year, that it's been difficult, but getting through that, being with other people that I can that help me with it. As Pastor John talked about his sermon this last Sunday, is about the staff that I work with. I love the staff here at Horizons. I love the community, the family, the groups that we are all in, and I love my staff where I work at Complete Hearing. That's another community that it's the similarities in the groups and how you work together to build each other up. And so that's part of my here, as in being rooted and being strengthened by being together as a community. And so as I worked through that, I was still trying to figure out what my goal was, where my end goal is, which, okay, my end goal is always to be more like Jesus, but where my path specifically led me. And so at this point, probably 5 years ago, I was still struggling. I was still trying to figure out my place, my point. And so as I looked through, my next word was be courageous. Okay, so Joshua 1:9, that's where it started out. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And so I unpacked this courage, being courageous, and that authoritative voice that takes command to ask the questions, to seek the answers, to find those opportunities. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to always be the courageous one. It's that courage that the Lord gives me through that. And so it's always an interesting way that it can bring joy and creative venture to me, to be courageous. It's not that strong leadership. I am going to lead the way, but I am part of the group. And so being part of that and being that option of taking my creativity and being courageous in how I present it, that it is something that I hold dear, because it's something that I enjoy doing, and I have joy sharing it with others. And so building up that place of I can still be courageous in my own little moment, to be able to expand that bubble of insecurities instead of hiding away behind the different walls and the different portions of where I like to distance myself from it, from taking that charge, but taking those pieces that I know are solid and right, and that I can bring those with courage. And so as I keep working through that courage, it's not something that I have mastered by any means. But I have to keep working on it, and it's something that I remember about leadership, and that I can still be a leader. It's more about relationships to me and how I am encouraging those around me. So bringing back in the encouragement and the strengthening others, and so that's where my courageousness can be involved in those other people. And so I keep working around these words that I have been given, and so. The last couple of years, I had 3 jobs actually. I work for the church as part-time, and so I love this. I love what I do for Horizons as a part-time staff employee. I enjoy this thoroughly, and so I get to share different pieces in the graphics, digital communications, in-person communications, all those fun things. I get to do that with Complete Hearing, and my other job too is where I pull in all the different aspects of their work and share that amazing information with other people there. But I was also working as a CNA at night, so just on weekends and different things. And so I had all these things going on, and as I was working through them and taking those moments and trying to figure out where I was at, I found myself in 2020. And so my word for last year was journey. And so as the journey goes in Isaiah 55:11, so is my word that goes out from my mouth and will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. And so I'm going to go back to my word here. Part of that, finding that word was finding where you were being sent. That was the name of the sermon series that was working through that, sent. And so where are you being sent? Well, I was sent here. I was where I was supposed to be, but being sent in a journey. And so I have come full circle again, because I keep circling, because that's how you keep growing. It's a continual progression of finding those moments and finding those pieces that come together. And I love when they all connect. That's part of me and how I work. And so that connection of finding my purpose, that God has sent these words out of his mouth, that I am a child of God. And so these things that he wants me to accomplish, that he's nudging me towards and showing me my purpose of being here, of encouraging others, of showing you what it's like to live like Jesus and feel the love of Jesus, because I have it and I can feel it, and I want to share it with you and share it with everybody, because that's the point, is to share that love. And so that purpose for which I have been sent, that journey, is that sharing of that love. And we talked about love like that throughout this 2021 year, is that journey of living like Jesus and loving like Jesus. And so it's coming back, that journey here. It's not about me going out and finding myself in other countries and other missions, and I haven't been called there yet. Maybe I will be, but that's part of the journey, is not necessarily always going out to seek some foreign land, but going out from your own personal moments and loving no matter what you do. And so as I journey through that, and as I've found what a journey 2020 was, and finding those moments of connecting my life as a Christian with my life at working with my family and trying to get all those pieces. It's a jumble. It's a mess, but it is part of how I am growing. And so those stories that come from, and so those movements, and I can't wait to share more of them with you as things progress in how my story grows and how your story grows. And so it's so exciting to be part of that. And so, as I've probably told you before, and I'm going to tell you again, I'm trying to be intentional this year. Being intentional about where I am strengthening, encouraging, and comforting others. And so my verse this year is 1 Corinthians 12:17. To speak to people for their strengthening, encouraging, and comfort. And so I'm acting on that purpose of that journey He has sent me on. And so that's also part of why today is more of my story, is because I want to reach out to you. And anybody who comments, if you want to email me or message me, whatever works for you, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you need encouragement on. Maybe I have a story to tell you. Maybe I have a resource that I can share with you. There are so many different things that come together when we just ask. And so this is my ask. Let me know what you need. Let me know what I can pray with you on. Let's see where God guides us in our path, in our journey, in being intentional, in being here, in being wherever you are. And so I thank you for being part of this. Have a great Thursday. May God bless you, and may your Thursday be very thoughtful. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next week.